Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're reviewing the Shelly Flood Gen4 water leak sensor. And I'll be upfront with you. I went into this one genuinely excited. On paper, this looks like a compelling option, but after actually testing it, this turned out to be one of the more disappointing reviews I've done. Let me walk you through why. The Shelly Flood Gen4 is a water leak sensor that supports both Wi-Fi and ZigBee. It runs on battery power and it comes with an external probe cable that lets you position the sensing point away from the main unit. That last feature sounds really useful. The idea being you can mount the device on a wall and snake the probe underneath a sink or appliance where water would actually collect. Good concept. Unfortunately, the execution of this entire device doesn't really hold up. Let's start with the physical design because problems show up right out of the gate. That external probe cable, it ships tightly coiled and simply doesn't want to lay flat. So instead of it sitting neatly in place under a sink or appliance, it curls back and gets in the way. For a rental property where you want devices to be discreet and stay put, that's a real problem. Maybe if they had sticky tape for the cable, it would work, but the way it currently is doesn't really work well. The device itself is actually pretty large and larger than most leak sensors. It's designed to be wall mounted, and I generally prefer compact puck style sensors that sit right on the floor where water actually collects. Wall mounting adds installation complexity, adds visual clutter. It means the cable has to run from the wall down to wherever the probe needs to go. It just feels like you're mounting two things instead of one. And then there's battery access. Once the cover is on, this thing is really hard to get back open. In fact, I had to get a screwdriver to pop in here and to get the cover back off. So once you put the batteries in and you click this cover on, it is extremely hard to get it back off. I honestly don't know how you would do this once the device is mounted to the wall. At $33, this is also one of the more expensive leak sensors we've tested, and the price doesn't match the experience. For the real issue that makes this a no-go for rental hosts, we tested this sensor using ZigBee, which is our preferred protocol. This was the only sensor that repeatedly dropped off the network, online, then offline, then online again, over and over. We troubleshot it, gave it every opportunity to perform, and the behavior just persisted. This is a big deal for anybody wanting to use this sensor, but specifically for rental hosts. Every time the sensor drops off the network, you get a notification. Your hub sees it as a device going offline. You don't know if something is wrong. Is it a connectivity issue? Is the sensor malfunctioning? Is there actually a problem at the property? You have no way to know, and that uncertainty is exhausting and counterproductive. The whole point of a leak sensor is peace of mind, and a sensor that constantly disconnects and reconnects gives you the opposite of that. For a device installed at a remote property where you can't just walk over and check on it, unreliable connectivity is a complete deal breaker. Now, to be fair, the sensor does accurately detect water when it's connected, and Shelly's design appears to intentionally disconnect from the ZigBee network between check-ins to conserve battery. But the practical result from a host perspective is the same. You can't trust that it's actively monitoring at any given moment, and the constant offline notifications make it unmanageable. From a short-term rental standpoint, this device misses on almost every front. It's bulky. Installation is more involved than it needs to be. The battery replacement is a hassle. The probe cable is unruly, and most critically, the ZigBee connectivity is not reliable enough for remote property management. There are simpler, cheaper, more dependable leak sensors available, and we point you towards those instead. Final verdict on this one, it's not recommended for short-term rentals. This might be workable if you want to use the Shelly device and put it on Wi-Fi, but for rental properties where you need something that stays connected, quiet when nothing is wrong, and easy to maintain, this isn't it. Skip it and put that $33 towards something that will actually give you confidence. Full written review is linked in the description. See you in the next one.